So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So we are about to attend the conference by Omar Medina. I'm repeating the biography for the video. So maybe Omar Medina is having some problems with internet or with the timing. I don't know. I'm gonna try to find out as I play the video. Omar Medina Omar Ismael Medina Vázquez was born in Tuxtla Gutiérrez in Chiapas in 1991. At the age of 8, he started playing classical guitar with the composer Simone Gianarelli. In 2010, he entered the visual arts department in Tuxtla, where he specialized in sculpture and graduated with aerophones, which is the topic he's presenting here. The Pre-Hispanic Microtonal Aerophones and their psychoacoustic effect. So please allow me, as Omar Medina comes, I will share and share sound, optimize for video clip. Okay. Okay, I cannot optimize for video clip somehow. And now, still not. Still not. Okay, no problem. Okay, so I'm sharing now the screen and we are about to, okay, so this is, I'm going to start this from the beginning. So welcome Omar Medina to the Microtonal Village. Okay, Omar. Maybe I check again. Okay, let's do it from here. Yes.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm glad here to sharing this interesting characteristic of these amazing pre-Hispanic instruments from Mexico. Okay, well, I'm Omar Medina. I'm Mexican. I'm born in Chiapas. I live in San Cristobal de las Casas. I studied visual arts. I specialized in sculpture, and well, I also studied a little of classical guitar, and I loved creating instruments, especially with aerophones, pre-Hispanic aerophones, and also I inspired about these amazing instruments and creating new designs. And well, I want to to talk about you a little of this project. I began this project like 12 years ago to get my degree on the university, and I wanted to combine in one piece music and sculpture. No, these two very important disciplines for me. And well, I could made it with aerophones. Uh, these aerophones are very interesting because there are original Hispanic aerophones, very nice pieces that they are amazing sculptures and also amazing musical instruments. They can play amazing sounds. They are very rich. But well, that's because I'm very interested in these instruments. And well, uh, this this video is about the aerophones, but also three very important characteristics of these instruments. from Mesoamerica, special with Mexica and Maya instruments. So in this video, I will play a little of my pre-Hispanic instruments, Mexicas, Mayas, and also I will play some records from original instruments from Mexico. So I recommend you to use a good sound system because there are very interesting sounds, especially with these original records. So you can there's very interesting thing of this psychoacoustic effect because you can hear it in earphones, but there's an amazing difference if you listen it on a good sound system. Okay, so I recommend you to use one. So there are three important characteristic of the aerophones. They are not all, but a lot of them they are microtonal. Some of them they are not microtonal, but they can sound this effect of battiment. I will explain more carefully. And the more amazing and interesting characteristic is the psychoacoustic effect. At the end, I will play these recordings so you can listen them. In this video, I will play the aerophones. So I will start with the microtonal. This is a chin whistle. This whistle doesn't have holes, only this big. So you play it like this. So your chin and the move against the chin plays the different tones and is very rich. You can make a lot of tones. It depends of the movement with the chin. This is a Maya whistle. I made it with an own design. So uh, so that's a proof of the microtonal aerophones, Pre-Hispanic aerophones. This is a transversal flute, also a microtonal because it has two big holes like this. So I play it. So I want only to show these two examples of microtonal because there's more examples. Then we have I want to show you the battiment. This is two examples of inspired in Mexica's flutes. This is a flute. So the battiment consists in when two tones are very close, but not exactly affinated. So we can realize that many of flutes and pre-Hispanic aerophones has this characteristic. So we can realize that they make this on purpose. No, they wanted to play this effect. No, so I will play a little bit of this flute. So this is one example. We have here another example, also inspired in Mexica flute. So there we have the batiment. Uh, there's a very interesting whistle. In Spanish, we said the pajarito is a bird in English. So this whistle, we use water. It's also microtonal, but without water, it sounds a simple whistle, and with the water, it sounds like a bird. So I will play it without and with water. So you can also play one tone, and with the water, it sounds like this. It needs more water. Then we also have a bird whistle, but also you can use two different sounds at the same time, like this. Water. I love this whistle bird. And now we go to the more interesting sound of these aerophones. Not all the aerophones can reach this psychoacoustic effect. This I could get these audios records of an investigation of Art Adgebot, a very important archaeomusicologist, that he studied some instruments found Templo Mayor. Templo Mayor from the Mexicas in Tenochtitlan was the most important temple for the Mexicas. In this temple, they adored two gods, Huitzilopochtli and Tlaloc. Tlaloc, the god from the rain, and Huitzilopochtli, the god of the war. But well, there's another topic. But in this temple, the Mexicas made a lot of offers, a lot of offers of a lot of things. They have found animals, art, sculptures, and in this investigation of Arnad Kapot, they found aerophones and also other kind of musical instruments. So he analyzed these aerophones. Some aerophones were from stone. They made of stone, and also they made of ceramics. The all the more number of aerophones are from ceramics. So he analyzed these aerophones and also record very important aerophones. I could reproduce also in one instrument this psychoacoustic effect, but first I want to show you the more important records of this investigation. So let me see. I'm not good with the technology. I apologize about that. Wait me a little. So here we have an example of psychoacoustic effect. I will show you another. So in this investigation, he record like each instrument. Also, he record a session, and for me, is the more close example of pre-Hispanic music. As you know, here in Mexico, we haven't found notes or musical something that we can imagine how they play in these ages the instruments, but we have these original instruments pre-Hispanic, and we can imagine a little all the possibilities they could make with this, how they play these instruments, because some of them they are microtonal, but also you can play very rich sounds. Some of them, for example, Mayas. There's a Maya whistle with the shape of a owl, but also it sounds like that species of owl, no? So there are a lot of aerophones so amazing, also mexicas and mayas. So I want you to show another example. Um, this is a session with uh, me, like two, three, or four aerophones. So sorry. It's not that. Um, this is the more example that has a lot of psychoacoustic effect. So it's very interesting because you can feel something very close to your ear, but it's outside. No, it's very strange and interesting. Mm, the the psychoacoustic effect is named by Art Adhebot. Uh, he analyzed these aerophones and he says that this psychoacoustic effect is because two very high notes or very high notes um, start to very close one to the other, so it creates like this effect. I don't know so much about this, but I know we have to research more about this. And I know, I think other instruments also can make this psychoacoustic effect. Um, so Art that Hepot made a very interesting discover with these aerophones. So I want to show you the one that I made, sorry, this very small whistle, but very powerful, no? So I will play it. Reading this investigation of Aaron Adhepot and with my old practice, I could realize or I could discover that this psychoacoustic effect um, or your instrument that can reach this psychoacoustic effect, you can potentialize it with water. No, so as you could hear, uh, it's like normal, but when I wear it, uh, you can listen with more uh, presence this psychoacoustic effect. Well, that's this passion for me and this very joyful investigation for me. I'm not full-time investigator about this, but I'm always trying to create new designs, also to find new investigations of pre-Hispanic instruments, aerophones instruments, and I hope you sorry. I hope you could realize the importance of the pre-Hispanic aerophones. Um, I think we are rediscovering a lot of things, the microtonal music, and also this amazing psychoacoustic effect. I want to end this video telling you that maybe this psychoacoustic effect, the Mexicas and other cultures from Mesoamerica, they maybe also used psilocybin from mushrooms or other kind of hallucinating substance, so they could uh, make more interesting this like a trip, like a like a meditation, like I don't know, but maybe they could use mushrooms or other substance to make another kind of ritual or something like that. So I end with that, and thank you for listening and for your time.
Thank you very much, Omar, for this very interesting archaeological topic. Omar, he could join. Hello, Omar.
Hello, Agustin. There was a problem, no, with the
Yes, with
audio?
the sounds. Yeah, it's I tried, I was on the phone, I was trying to find a solution. And if you allow me, instead of we have 10 minutes now for the questions, if you agree with that, Omar, if you agree, excuse me, with that, I will share the screen again, and I'm gonna play some of your examples, the audio examples. I think this is very, very important for understanding your investigation. So if you
Or if you want me, I can play them, or you could find the problem.
yes, please. If can we see you on video as well, so we can see the instruments again? I mean, if you can play them, fantastic.
Yeah. Now
Yeah,
I'm connected on my cell phone. Maybe the problem was in the laptop. So tell
yeah,
me if you can hear.
not really.
Not
Can you say it
really.
again, please? We heard like, or I don't know what the rest of the participants say. Once again, please. We hear the very first, and that's it.
Oh,
If you activate, can you activate audio for musicians? Somebody, Felipe Pinto, wrote, perhaps if you activate audio for musicians, sonido original para músicos debe estar activado.
on the Zoom.
Felipe, on the Zoom, en la parte arriba a la derecha de Zoom. Parte arriba a la derecha de Zoom. Parte arriba a la derecha de Zoom. No sé si lo encuentras.
Zoom.
Ok, yo no lo encuentro, no sé, quizá en mi programa venga automático. Maybe, sorry for the Spanish, for the other language. Maybe it's otherwise, because we have now 8 minutes, Omar. Should we try the audios you sent me? And in between,
Yeah,
you can look,
yeah.
find
That's
the
the. I
solution,
think
just let me
that's that.
know. Just let me know with the phone. I have two computers here. I'm very well connected. So if you find the solution, I cut the sharing of the screen, and we continue with you if you want.
Yeah, but
Here?
well, the most important and interesting thing,
Yes.
the audios I sent you. So
Yes.
yeah, play them, and I try to find the problem here.
Yes. Okay, so that was the first example. And the second one. Okay, so like this now, it's fair that we listen to the acoustic part of your archaeological investigation and your aerophones. So I'm happy that at least we could have an idea of how it sounds. We still have 4 minutes. I would like to ask in the group if anyone has any questions for Omar, please. Or would you like to say something else, Omar? Sorry, I didn't ask you.
Well, I only wanted to play the aerophones, but I couldn't find the problem.
Can you
Um,
try again? I mean, we still have 4 minutes. Can you try? And last time, I've never seen this problem in my life, actually.
yeah, um, yeah, I was trying to find, but no. Um, okay. You tell me if you can hear. No?
I'm sorry. It looks really. It's like a joke, like a dream that I can hear your voice perfectly, everything, and then not the flutes, not the aerophones. So
Yeah,
I have no idea what's happening.
yeah, me too.
So anyone, any questions? We still have time maybe for one question or so. Yeah. Yes, Omar is a sculptor and a musician. And yeah, Matthew Salis is asking if the instruments are also sculptures.
Yeah, some of them has a shape. It can be abstract or also more figurative, but others doesn't have more shape, only color like this. This flute is only with the basic structure, the functional structure. But yeah, I inspired with Pre-Hispanic Aerophones because they also has amazing. It can be a sculpture, but also a musical instrument. Um, you can find something on internet. You can look for Maya's Pre-Hispanic aerophones or also Mexicas,
Mhm,
and you can see on internet these amazing. We can say them. We can name them like sonar sculptures.
mhm. And how long this one you just tried to play? How long did it take that you finished it?
Um, well, first it was difficult to make one. I start with making whistles, no?
Mhm,
Then I start to investigate more with Hispanic aerophones and investigations that has the photo, the picture inside of the aerophone, so
mhm,
I can reproduce it. And they yeah, they take time to because sometimes takes like 2 hours to find to make the instrument sounds.
mhm,
But it depends the difficult of the instrument now because some instruments they are very complex. They can have interior cameras, so it can be difficult. No.
mhm. Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much, Omar. Um, what I will contact you when we publish these videos on from the symposium. I will ask you for some additional links so that we can hear we find the way to listen to these examples because it's
Yeah.
very that we don't have these acoustic, beautiful examples. So thank you so much for your very interesting presentation, for being with us. And yeah, so we will continue with the symposium. Thank you, Omar. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Agustín. Thank you for the invitation.
A ti por
Thank you,
participar.
everybody, for your
Claro,
time.
no, so we continue with composer Felipe Pinto da Guiar. Okay, I just need a little second. So for the title, I'm a bit confused. Was trying to find the solution. It was really a shame not to listen to these examples. So we are continuing with two strategies for utilizing microtones in orchestral settings. So with Felipe Pinto da Guiar, and the works of Felipe Pinto da Guiar, 1982, have been regarded as possessing emotional drive and intensity by the Sydney Morning Herald. Originally from Santiago de Chile, he has been involved in projects in more than 15 countries across 5 continents, in which he has collaborated with Arco Symphonic Ensemble, Sound Icon, the Concert Guitarrístico, the Orquesta Sinfónica Universidad de Concepción, Ensemble Contemporáneo UC, Time Art Studio, Names Ensemble, Boston Música Viva, Ensemble Fractura, Sound Experimental, the Cape Town Philharmonic Orchestra, and the Jack Quartet, among others. He holds a DMA in composition from Boston University, where he studied with Joshua Feinberg, thanks to a Fulbright grant. Previously, he completed a Masters of Music at the University of Melbourne, working with Elliot Geiger, and was also a student of Alyosha Solovera, described as one of the most powerful Chilean voices born in the 70s and 80s by El Mercurio. He takes inspiration from various sources, including visual arts, literature, films, daily life, and the natural world. He's an associate professor at School of Music and Sonic Arts and Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Architecture of Universidad Austral de Chile in Valdivia. So please welcome Felipe Pinto da Guiar. Hello, Felipe.
Hi, Agustin. How are you? Thank you for the presentation. I think, Agustin, since we are good with schedule, it would be ideal if you could please play the video of the presentation and then move right away to the piece that I sent you the second link, and then we'll leave the discussion for after that, if that's okay for you.
Yes, perfect. I'll do this right away. Share sound. This
Thank
is.
you.
So I think I did the wrong one. Share desktop one. This one. Okay. Because I have. You can see. Yes, this is the whole one. Okay, I close this. I come to strategies. Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon. My name is Felipe Pinto Dayar. I'm a composer and I'm very happy to be part of the symposium. So thank you very much to Agustin and all the people who has worked in the organization. Unfortunately, I couldn't travel this time, but I hope to do so in the future. My presentation is titled 2 Strategies for Utilizing Microtones in Orchestral Settings, and I will be discussing some practical considerations that I have observed while working with microtones in the context of large ensembles and orchestras. First, I will give some general context and then I will examine 2 cases of my own compositions. The first is a piece called Transparencias, which employs a traditional orchestral setup. 2 flutes, 2 oboes, 2 clarinets, 2 bassoons, 2 French horns, 2 trumpets, timpani, and strings. The second piece is called Ambientes and is written for a larger orchestra of 3 flutes, 3 oboes, 3 clarinets, 3 bassoons, 4 French horns, 3 trumpets, 3 trombones, 1 tuba, 2 percussionists, harp, and strings. The way I usually approach to microtones is by approximating and/or distorting overtones taken from the harmonic series. I often focus on the 7th, 11th, and 13th partials, using quadratone approximations. These are relatively accurate for the 11th, which is minus 49 cents, and the 13th partial, which is plus 41 cents. But less so for the 7th partial, which is minus 31 cents. I also use the 9th partial approximated to equal temperament. However, I always rely in the ability of musicians to make fine-tuning contextually, as it happens in orchestral repertoire. That is why, in a large ensemble context, I do not utilize finer microtone indications in the score, but I will come back to this later. So the general approach is to reach certain intervals rather than working with equal divisions of the octave. In solo or chamber music, I would use more indications because it is easier to have more resolution, if you want, and also to have more control. You can see in the following example that I add a number over the accidental to show which partial the musician should tune to. But this is a chamber music context, so I think such a request of a spectral math is something you can ask for. Now, let's move to the orchestral context. The first case I would like to present is a piece for classical orchestra or medium-sized orchestra. Here, the woodwinds are treated as solists, so there are microtones written for them, which should be acquired ideally by utilizing special fingerings rather than making embouchure adjustments, although that's more my own preference than a norm. You can see an example of the score in this slide. Regarding the strings, there are microtones in the sections, and for this to work you really have to have at least 3 or more instruments playing simultaneously. The slight variations in the tuning may produce a chorus effect, which is something I like. Additionally, for more precise pitches, natural harmonics in specific strings can also be used. The second case is a composition for full orchestra. Here the approach is different because a portion of the orchestra tunes a quadratone lower. I found a reference for this approach in the piece Reflections, Reflet, number 2, High Voltage, Haute Tension by Tristan Murail. By adjusting the mouthpiece of the third of flutes, oboes, clarinets, and making tube adjustments in a French horn and trumpet, some musicians tune a quadratone lower than the rest of the orchestra. This allows for an extension of the pitches palette without utilizing special fingerings or embouchure adjustments, which I found useful for a more complex and expensive rehearsal regime as the one of a full orchestra is. It is important to keep in mind that the mouthpiece adjustment changes the pitch in a manner that is not consistent throughout the register of the instrument, so the extremes are slightly distorted. That is not a problem perceptually for the upper register, but it can generate issues in the lower part of the range. Here there is an example showing flute, oboe and clarinet, the three playing approximately -50 cents, which enriches the harmony by adding color and allowing the overall texture to fuse better. Regarding the strings, the approach is also different compared to the first composition. Here, the microtones are used exclusively by soloists. The tutti section always play with no microtones, so different dynamics are used to compensate the asymmetry in the number of string instruments. But a fundamental question I haven't introduced yet is why to use microtones? Perhaps the answer is obvious for us here in the symposium, although I think it is a relevant question in general. As I already mentioned, there are some important aspects that require the use of microtones. The first is color. The pitch palette enriches substantially by including more frequencies. The second reason is the fact that when fine-tuning harmony, harmony becomes timbre. That is to say that we stop listening to chords or collections of pitches and start listening to timbral objects, which is something I look for. Another interesting feature of using microtones in ensemble or orchestral contexts is the emergence of beatings due to close frequencies interacting with each other, and the possibility of having then super dense clusters. Now I would like to show you a few short sound excerpts to illustrate some of the things I have said, and later a longer excerpt of the full orchestral work. We will switch now to ambientes. Now we will listen to a longer excerpt of Ambientes performed by the Cape Town Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by Kelvin Groten. To finish, before we have some time for discussion, I would like to sketch a few preliminary conclusions. First is that ensemble or orchestral musicians do fine-tuning adjustments in their regular practice, even with historical repertoire, sometimes especially with historical repertoire. So I found no need to be over-specific with notation if the context is somewhat self-evident and the instrumental forces are large. We find examples of this phenomenon in the late Romantic era, with the expansion of harmonic language and the use of large orchestras. Musicians often adjust their intonation to match the shifting harmonic centers. For instance, brass sections in Wagnerian operas or Mahler symphonies adjust their tuning to ensure that important chords, like the tonic or the dominant, sound as rich, resonant, and powerful as possible. Since I'm using rather restrained collections of chords, musicians rapidly know when they are playing, for instance, a 7th or an 11th partial, and they can adjust quickly to the context. Second, quadrotone approximation notation is often enough. Third, differentiated tunings can work effectively in large ensembles, although I'm not so sure they work for string sections. There is the example of the piece Ramifications by György Ligeti, which I love in recordings, by the way, but I'm yet to experience an effective live performance. Finally, to conclude, I believe that all music is microtonal, no matter the use or not of a specific microtonal accidentals. There are always contextual adjustments even in traditional tonal repertoire. And this practice, which orchestral musicians have, can be exploited by microtonal composers and performers. Thank you very much.
So we continue with the next video, and I have a couple of questions for you, Felipe. Thank you for your amazing presentation, and this is an example.
Agustín? Agustín?
Yes, I don't know why it doesn't sound.
It should be on the 43-minute,
Oh, I didn't get this.
5 seconds.
Sorry. Okay.
43, 20, 43, 35.
Remedy, del compositor Felipe Pinto de Aguilar.
Good. Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you so much for sharing your work and with this amazing example. I'm sorry I had to cut it. I tried, but at least that we leave a couple of minutes. Yeah. Okay, I try to do this. Yeah, so Felipe, thank you. And I would like to ask in the group if there are any questions about how you use microtones in your music. And so I'm checking the chat. Is anyone is writing something? Okay. So I put you.
I cannot see the chat anymore, so please let me know if there is something in the chat.
Yes. What did I do actually? View.
No, it's my computer that I have a problem with the chat
Okay.
now.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
maybe because I don't see the chat yet right now. Okay. No, I do see it. Yeah.
Mhm.
There are no more questions in the chat. Yes, I'm checking. I was also checking with Mario Hurtado. I think by the way, I think his presentation is going to be canceled. Okay, anyway, any questions? Otherwise, I just go ahead, or maybe you want to add something to after the recording of your piece, Felipe?
No, I'm open to question if there are any, and maybe if people are interested in something else, we can. Oh, I see there's something in the chat, but unfortunately, I cannot open the chat. I
Yes.
can see it
Okay,
now.
I read it. Matthew Salis is saying interesting music sounds outside of European tradition. Sounds of outside of European tradition.
Yeah, I guess that's something we all look for when using microtones.
Yes, a couple of sometimes really very nice atmospheres, and sometimes I don't know why. I cannot say exactly why, but it reminded me of something of Julian Carrillo. So, what do you think? I mean, do you have any inspiration? Do you take any inspiration from American microtonal pioneers? Maybe we can connect this question to Matthew.
I do love the work of Carrillo and others. There are other examples later on, like Messias Maiwashka and people like him.
Mhm.
I'm more connected usually to the spectral or post-spectral school than any like a microtonal school like the one of Harry Patch or Lou Harrison.
Yeah.
But I think, as I was saying before, my view is that all music is microtonal because, like, if you listen to, for instance, aerophones from the Andes, which is a pre-Hispanic tradition, you cannot notate that with the equal temperament. There's no way, right? So that it already has a different kind of tuning, and I think actually you cannot escape microtonality because even in a piano with well, the pianos are not equally tempered tuned because they sound wrong if you do that. They have to stretch the
Yes.
string registers, and even if you play a string, the
Mhm.
string is going to give you overtones which are not. So I think it's always there, and it's always there even in equal tempered music. But I like when it becomes more noticeable when the nuance of the microtone. And I was I was reading the presentations schedule, and there's one that talks about high resolution, which is I'm guessing what it's going to be about, but that's always something I think about. It's like microtonal music is like HD video or TV, right? We're used to only listening to 12 tones, but there are so many frequencies that I always make that connection with HD.
Oh, that's very graphical, very interesting. And in a way, I agree with you with that all music is microtonal. but I wouldn't say it myself. I wouldn't dare. But yes, it depends, and also it depends on in which instrument, because it's also it varies from one instrument to another one, and yes, and then yes, you said you're very connected to spectralism, and you use microtonality because I mean I have seen you several occasions in several lectures, and so that allows me to try to understand your brain as a composer and your music, to know your language a little bit better. And to do so, I would like to ask you if you can speak a little bit deeper, maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes, if you can speak a little bit more about what microtonality, because we are different, but we believe the same. I also believe that microtonality in my music sometimes is a tool for color, but we use it in very different ways. And I would like to ask you if you can explain, give a couple of details so that I can understand much better your aesthetic ideas.
So usually I used microtones, and I got inspiration from the harmonic series or variations of the harmonic series, but you could say chords that have some acoustic basis, right? So then the approximation is to try to reach certain harmonic, certain partials from the harmonic series, like the 12th, the 11th, the 7th, the 9th, 13th, others that are very noticeable. And I also connect that to jazz, because you know in jazz you have the tensions of the harmony. You have the triads, the seventh chords, and then you add the 9th, the 11th, the 13th to give color. So those are partials I usually work with, not the only ones, but those are my dearest, if you want. And I use them, and I try to connect different harmonies, trying to match partials that are close to each other. For instance, what is the seventh partial in one harmony can become the 11th in another, or the 13th in another, to create some sort of polyphony or some kind of spectral modulation. And that's usually the way, but it's not all about color, because as I was saying before, also you have beatings, as Omar was talking about batimentos, right? The beatings also is something I like, and I need microtones to create them. And also the one of the interesting things to me of that microtonality can provide is to fuse the sound to the point where we no longer listen to chords, but we start listening to timbre, to timbral objects.
Yes, that helps me quite much to understand better, actually. Very interesting. And this a question by Orlando Zavala. Hello, Orlando. And I can read it, or maybe you say yourself, are you planning to compose something exclusively microtonal?
I do have some pieces that are exclusively microtonal, usually using fixed tuning for guitars, for instance. So I can have a system where the open strings are tuned in a way that I can use and stick to one microtonal system. I do have some pieces like that.
Well, and yeah, so now it's time. And I would like to say to all the participants, I mean, I've been trying since yesterday to connect to Mario, because he didn't send me the video and I didn't hear from him. So one just lacks check. Okay, so we're gonna have a longer break today. We are gonna meet again. I mean, in New York it's now 2 o'clock, and in Austria, I have also 2 computers, so one with each time. So we are going to have a break until, excuse me, until 3:15 in New York. So we're going to be 1 hour and 15 minutes, a little bit longer break. So maybe some of you can, then now you have time to stretch your legs. I think I'm going to do this myself a little bit because I didn't have time before. So thank you so much, Felipe. It's great. It's a great honor to have you at the Microtonal Village Symposium. Yes, this reaction, of course. And yeah, I'm very happy that you're here, and I will see you all in 1 hour and 15 minutes. So have a nice break. See you later.
Thank you, Agustin.
Thank you, Felipe.
Thank you.
Gracias.